grabbed a knife and I threatened her with it. It was at this point I began to feel really scared of myself, and I thought I would do something that I would regret one day. I was born as a very chubby Asian baby, and I was raised in the Christian faith in a family of 4. Whilst my dad was at work, my mum would often be reading children's Bible stories to me and would pray with me before I went to bed. My sister would join with me as well sometimes. When I was at the age of 11, I was baptized, and I even thought that was a one-way ticket to heaven. I thought I was living a good Christian life, and I was that good Christian boy who went to church every Sunday, and I attended youth groups, and I went to a Christian school, and I wasn't even swearing when my high school friends were, so I thought I was that good moral Christian. Rewinding back to an early age, since I was the age of 3, I began to love the world of technology. I was captivated by it, and especially violent shows, but more specifically online gaming. This was my passion, and it's something that I spent many, many hours in. It really just consumed my mind, and I couldn't stop myself from doing it. And some days I spent 16 to 18 hours just playing, and I began to be lost in this virtual world, and this started affecting my grades, and I didn't even study for my final 2 exams of my high school because I was just so addicted to online gaming. I was also addicted to pornography, and I was just drawn and bound to it. It would just feel so repulsive and guilty and just ashamed of myself every single time. Another reason I chose to lose myself in the world of online gaming was because I wanted to escape reality. You see, I didn't grow up in the best family environment. In fact, many memories I had was very unpleasant, especially past my early childhood years. In fact, I didn't even want to be at home. I rather stayed at school, and I felt dreadful when I knew that school ended because I didn't want to go back home. So when I did go back home, I just wanted to lock myself in the room, or just wanted to be by myself, and I was just starting to become depressed, and I couldn't handle the problems I was having at home. I began to have a lot of horrible arguments with my older sister, and during one of our arguments I had so much built up frustration and built up anger, and I grabbed a knife and I threatened her with it. I really scared myself during that, and I was scared about what I'd become and how much frustration and rage and anger I had within me that I could do something like this. I'm not able to forget how my mom reacted, and the look on her face and the shock and horror that she experienced when she saw me do that. Playing games never satisfied me, nor did pornography or any of my friends. Nothing could. In fact, I felt just so horrible because it would only bring me temporal satisfaction. It would never last. To top it all off, me and my girlfriend broke up, and I couldn't handle it very well, and I was having trouble breathing, and I couldn't sleep, and I couldn't think properly. I was just so depressed, and I was over this life, and I began to harm myself, and I was even thinking about how I could take my own life. Because I grew up in the church, I knew the basic truths of the gospel, but it wasn't when I went into a certain church that a preacher was explaining the hard message and the hard truths of what it really means to be a disciple of Jesus Christ. He was preaching the message that, if I was continually living for myself and I wasn't living in holiness, but I was living in sin, that it just proves that I'm not a real Christian, and that scared me. I knew it was the truth, and I kept on convincing myself it wasn't, and I tried to convince myself that I am a Christian, I am saved, I asked Jesus into my heart. But I was just being so stubborn, and I knew that if I really called out to God, He would save me, and He would redeem me from my depression. He would take me from my addictions to pornography and release me from this addiction to online gaming, which I knew He wasn't pleased with. But I also knew He would transform my life. But I didn't want that, because I wanted to hold on to my life. I continually lived how I did, in absolute misery, and I very well knew I was heading for destruction. And this went on for about another further 2 years, until God really, really humbled me. When He did, I no longer wanted to live for myself. In fact, I wanted to live for Him. And I wanted to learn more about Him. I wanted to read the Bible, and I hungered and I thirsted for it. And I remember that day He saved me. He broke my bondages. He broke my addictions. I no longer had that desire to play games, and I got rid of every single one of them, and I had no longer had the desire to watch pornography, and I was no longer depressed, because He took that away from me, and He instantly changed me, and He changed my heart, and I did not longer want to do those things. In fact, all I did was want to thank Him, and I just wanted to please Him, and I thank God that He saved me. I was searching for a path to live my own life and yet still get to heaven, but that's not possible.